Hello. Hello. Okay, yeah, people are already on. So if you can hear me, can you please just say hi or thumbs up? Let me be sure that my microphone is working good. All right, you're all welcome. Yes, Vera is here. Patrick, Egwakun, Shina, Latunji, Shinji, Kelvin, Sajini, you're all welcome. Okay, so you can hear me very well. So we're going to start. Let's not waste too much time. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Bashwan Talks Sesame Seeds Business Masterclass. I'm Mr. Bash, and I'm so glad that you could join me today. Before we dive in, let's make it interactive. Please type in the live chat where you're watching from. Type your city or country in the comment section. Let's know who's in the house. Yeah, Lagos. Vera, you're from Lagos. Patrick from Bayelsa, you're welcome. Shina Olatunji from Dawano in Kano. All right. I would like to speak to you later. And Olubodun Oluwaseun from Port Harcourt. Yes, please, Shina. Let me send you my email. I would like to get. Or do you belong to our WhatsApp group, Shina? Or was it Shina? Yes, Shina. If you do belong to our WhatsApp group, you can reach out from there as well. Your Motola from Lagos, you're welcome. Rashid Adeleye from London, very welcome. Ifeoma from Abuja, Okafo. All right, today we are going to be talking about Sesame Seeds business. One of Nigeria's most powerful and consistent export opportunities. Many people don't know about this. Every year, billions of naira move quietly through this value chain, and most people don't even realize how much opportunity sits here right inside our villages. By the way, this session is for everyone. Um, those hearing about sesame seeds for the very first time, traders already doing other crops like egusi, rice, or soya beans, even experienced people who want to scale professionally this season. Now, as many of you know, I've been in this business for more than 10 years. I have seen very good seasons, I have seen bad seasons, and I've seen even very crazy seasons that I don't know whether to call it good or bad. Right now, the 2025 Sesame Seed season is starting, and there is a lot to make good financial use of this season. And for those of you who don't know, like I earlier mentioned, sesame seed is one of Nigeria's top non-oil export crops. Countries like Japan, China, and Turkey heavily buy from us, especially in the months after harvest from November through to March. But there are some states that produce sesame seeds in October, like Bauchi, Sokoto. I have never bought those sesame seeds because they also have their problems with moisture content. Here in Nasarawa, where I'm based, the sesame buying season is just starting. Prices currently are not very clear, but based on the reports we are getting, the farm gate range in Nasarawa is about 1,000 naira per bag. But the 1,000 naira per bag in Nasarawa currently is for the old stock and it's unclaimed. That's why I'm saying that the price has not stabilized. So I don't want to focus much on this price. But the indication from Kano, from those in Kano, can confirm currently they are selling for 1,050 naira to 1,100 per kilogram for the cleaned sesame seeds, depending on the quality. Like I mentioned earlier, the parts of the north, like Bauchi, Sokoto, usually have sesame coming earlier than Nasarawa and Benue State. However, you should be careful because the sesame you buy very early in October, this is one thing you must be aware of from the very beginning, usually have high moisture content. The reason is that the rains are still falling. Uh, Sometimes they harvest the sesame is left outside and they get wet. Of course, it's beneficial for the seller because it makes the weight to be high, but for the buyer, it's going to be problematic. You might have bad sesame seeds. Um, Personally, I project that the local prices will go lower than its current position of 1,000, or 1,100. It's going to go lower than that. I believe local prices will be under 1,000 naira. This is my own projection. Uh, I got this from information I gathered during my last trip to China. I learned that China currently has stock of sesame to last them up to 5 years or more. This is a strategy that countries use to ensure that international market prices come down. Also, countries in South America, they've started producing sesame seeds in commercial quantities, and this would affect international prices as well. It's simple economics. But on the other hand, I'm not so strict about saying the prices will come down. If prices, for example, prices in India, not prices, production volumes in India and there's some other countries, even Nigeria, do not meet up to the expectation due to maybe seasonal factors, makes the farmers to have poor yield, prices could still go up. This usually happens, is driven by the markets of India most especially, because India is one of the largest producers of sesame seeds. And when the season doesn't go well there, they tend to invade other markets like Nigeria. And if Nigerian markets or Nigerian season also doesn't do well, then the price will now skyrocket because there's a lot of people trying to buy sesame to meet up their export contracts and requirements. Internationally, the pricing of sesame is very wide depending on the quality. It goes from between $1.3, that's $1.03 per kilogram, up to even $2 per kilogram, which is $2,000 per ton. This depends mostly about quality, purity, color, and the moisture content. So remember this, in sesame seeds, what makes or breaks your profit is not just the buying price, it is the quality that you deliver. There are cheap devices that you can use for quality control. Another way is to simply get companies like Bureau Veritas or SGS to test your product quality if you have large volumes. Then for a guide, I'm going to mention moisture content that is acceptable. Under 8% is acceptable, but if your moisture content is getting to 10%, then buyers might reject your product or price you down. Then the purity, the export quality range starts from 97%, but 97% is the minimum Nigerians play around with. Mostly, if you're doing a B2B in Nigeria, maybe you're buying locally and you're selling locally, 97, 98% is acceptable. But if you want to be serious about export, you should target cleanliness of 99%, minimum 98. And the oil content should usually be in the range of 48 to 52%, depending on the seed variety. The most common countries that buy our sesame seeds are India. India is one of the largest buyers, but usually they are very, very tricky when it comes to pricing. I have sold goods to Indians a lot, but they know the market very well, so they will try to make sure you don't even make profit, but they make most of the profit. Of course, if you can develop a good relationship with any Indian buyer who is sincere, you have long-term business as well. Turkish buyers, they are good. They could be difficult at times when it comes to payment terms, but they pay more for the products than the Indian buyers. Then the Chinese buyers, like you all know, they will try to bring you as low as possible. If you watch some of my videos, I mentioned that these people are everywhere in the market. You go into the farms, they are there. You go in the villages, they are there. They buy from everywhere. So they know the price even better than you do know. So most of the time, they tend to want to control the price right from the farm. And meanwhile, securing their export profits because that's where they make most of the money. Now, let's talk about how this business works in Nigeria. The sesame seed chain is simple but powerful. At the lowest level or the base level, there are the farmers, then you have the village buyers or aggregators who collect from farmers and sell to bigger traders in processing companies or in Lagos or Kano. Mostly, when you are selling to these people, you are not selling completely raw. I mean, it's raw, but they must have passed through the first stage of processing because when you get the goods from the farms, admixture content is very high. They have to usually up to 8%. So they have to ensure it comes down to like 2%. It means the rubbish, the sands, and the nonsense inside, even by simple sifting. The local women use sieves to sift. And nowadays, there are single line machines, processing line that clean this product to the level the local buyers would accept or the local wholesale buyers would accept. Um, Now, the truth is, you can make money at any level as long as you understand your position in the value chain. Some people buy just 5 bags from the farm and resell within a week. Some buy truckloads, clean them, and sell to exporters. I have done both. I've done even several of these parts of the value chain. And over the years, I have built systems around it and scaled up. I even recently built a large new warehouse in Nasarawa. And during my trip to China in this last August, I bought a very modern sesame seed cleaning machine, which I'm expecting to arrive in a few weeks' time for us to use in cleaning sesame seeds this season. Um, like we have done when upscaling, you must be ready to also develop reliable sourcing networks across the various producing states. That's the backbone of what I do: structure, quality control, and integrity. Once I cannot overemphasize the aspect of integrity enough. In commodity business in Nigeria, if you are not known for doing what you say you would do, you will go down fast. You might succeed in eating somebody's money once or twice, but that'll be it because the news about you will spread everywhere. And integrity is one of the simplest ways to grow, being consistent in your quality, being consistent in your timely delivery of the products that you promised or agreed to deliver. As long as you're consistent in this, you would see the finance to upscale in this business, even without using your own money. Now, let's talk about the buying part. This is where many traders lose money because you can Any business, you can start losing even from the beginning of buying. When you go to the villages, the sesame seed may look clean, but never trust appearance alone. Unscrupulous suppliers, middlemen, sometimes add sand and stones to make the bags heavier. Some even soak some of the sesame in water to increase weight. Worse still, there are dishonest agents who buy on behalf of companies or exporters. And when they are asked to supply machine cleaned sesame seed, they secretly make deals with the machine operators so that the machine does not remove enough stones or sand. I discovered this because it was happening to me as well. You go to your processing site and you think that because we evolved with time. Let me digress a bit. Initially, we used to buy I will call it, it was kind of like chance. You just buy whatever you see in the market. It wasn't being sold with scale and all that. But in the past 5 to 6 years, buyers have improved, ensuring that they are being bought by scale, by weighing the bags. Because previously, you will buy a bag, maybe 50,000 naira. You buy another bag, 50,000 naira, but one of the bag weighs 120 kilograms and one of the bag weighs 140 kilograms. So it was like try and error. But now the buyers have structured a way, so everything is being done per kilograms. Again, this did not stop the agents. They've put things, they always find a way to make money off you. So buyers and wholesale sellers decided that, okay, you bring the sesame to our warehouse and we would only buy the cleaned sesame at the end of the process. So again, these agents found a way to go to the machine operators and tell them that, okay, this sesame, I want you to guarantee me a certain number or not less than a certain number of kilograms. So they are just the sieves. So stones and sand that should be taken out go back into the bags. And the buyer, knowing that, yeah, okay, I know this cleaning warehouse, so I will just pay. He doesn't know he's losing because when he sells, his end users, either in Europe or anywhere, will discover that they've been sold rubbish. Tomorrow they will come back to him. So that's one of the fastest way to kill your business. So you should be very careful with agents who buy on behalf of companies or exporters. Um, so this is what you should do. You must scoop and check each bag. Pour a handful in your palm, blow it, and if you see stones or dust, then you know it is mixed. Again, there are local sieves put in layers. They sell them even in Nasarawa, they sell them. You see them like a normal sieve you use for sieving rice or anything, but there are certain specific sizes of holes in these sieves in layers. So there's a way you can sieve and understand how the quality of the sesame in each bag actually is. Then you must reweigh each bag in your own warehouse to be sure that you're buying the right product. Now, the cleaning process is where the serious buyers separate themselves from the others. Um, like I mentioned earlier, most cleaning systems in Nigeria are single line setups. They reach just around 98 and down to 97% of cleanliness. This is okay, but export buyers want better. That's why personally I invested recently in my machine, my new machine coming from China. I bought it from Julite. Julite company is one of the most famous sesame seed machine producers that has been supplying to Nigeria. And that particular machine I acquired, it combines air screen, gravity, and vibration stages. So this pushes the quality to around 99% purity. That's up from the previous ones I've been using, which were single line. Better purity means better price and better reputation. Buyers know your sesame is consistent. That's how you move from local trader to a trusted supplier. And again, Never compromise your quality just to gain a few kilograms. In this business, credibility and your sincerity is as good as money. On the issue of storage, a lot of people have been asking me. I'll take questions, by the way, and feel free to write your questions in the comment section if you have any. But I also got some questions I have been asked, and from time to time, I would talk about them. Many people have asked me, Mr. Bash, should we store sesame seed and wait for the price to go up? My honest answer is it depends on the visibility. You know, every agriculture product has its own strategy of entering the business. We did egusi in August. Egusi is very good for storage and is one of the things I advised many people who are new into agriculture business to try. Because when you see the returns coming from egusi, then you start getting the confidence to go into other products and try your hands in other things. The reason why I promoted egusi so much is I have never lost money in egusi. The worst thing that happened is I get my money back. Maybe I don't make much profit, but you must get your capital back. That's one guarantee, you know. But for sesame seed, is a completely different ball game. Sesame seed prices are usually controlled by international market forces and factors, while the egusi business is controlled by our own local consumption system and style. So now, because sesame is an export driven crop, global demand determines the price. If demand from Asia slows down, prices may fall even if you store for months. Personally, I don't advise beginners to store sesame seed, but I have stored before. And when I had and when I stored, it was because I had clear visibility of the export trend. I made very good money. In fact, that year we made about 32% of return on our investment when I stored. But it's not something you should do all the time. You must check carefully. If you store, you must make sure you do your research properly so that you don't trade blindly. You Agricultural business is not gambling, so you have to. Everything has a strategy, and everything is should be done according to what your research tells you to do. Now, going to some questions that have been asked, like I said, feel free to ask your questions. Yes, Ife, Inakena, you're welcome. Oyekachi from Lagos, you're welcome. Olaoluwamu from Lagos, you're welcome. People have been asking, they want to get into the business. What is the current price in Nasarawa? Now, it's very important to understand what the price of any commodity is at every given point in time. So, if you are going to buy and you are buying at a price that exceeds the current market price, you are already losing even before you started the business. Last year, I had there was somebody, one of my followers, he wanted to buy from, I think it was Niger State, but he didn't understand what the prices were. It was his first time, and he called me. What is the price? They are offering him, for example, I don't remember the exact figure, but for example, the price we were buying in Nasarawa was maybe 200 naira, but he per kilogram. But he told me in Niger State they were offering him to buy at the price of 300 naira. But I told him, I said, no, that's not the current market price. Current market price is 200 naira. If you buy at 300 naira per kilogram, you're already 100 naira in loss. What if the price only appreciates to 300 naira at the end of the season? You won't be able to sell if it's storage you're planning to do. Or if you take that goods, maybe you want to do spot trades. You buy it now, you think you take it to the next market to sell. You won't be able to sell because maybe the highest price that current market goes to is like 280. You're already still losing. So I cannot overemphasize the importance of pricing enough. And currently, I have a platform, Mr. Bash Prices. My assistant might post it on the platform as well. So in this platform, you can you can check what the price is at every point in time, whether it's sesame seeds, cashew nuts, anything, because we have people on ground everywhere. I mean, not everywhere, of course, but in the major markets in Kano, and I'm always happy to get more people that I talk with about prices from all these locations. Um, so somebody sent me, okay, as a beginner, okay, on masked crimes, yeah, you sent a message. You talked about the value chain. As a beginner, where should I start from? And you explain the other chains. Now, I will tell you from my own experience so that you will determine what is the best point for you to start. When I started this agriculture business, I saved up some money. My plan was to just go straight into export to just see if I could buy one container at least. So I saved up enough money I thought would be enough to buy a full container load of sesame seeds. But when I actually went into Nasarawa, which was my first point of contact, I realized that my money was not enough. But then I was doing this research from the beginning of the year and I understood what the price was. So I decided that, okay, instead of just using this money and not getting up to a container to buy, because I didn't even understand how the trade works. I didn't understand that I could buy and sell locally. I didn't understand anything. I just took my money and decided that, well, I'm going to farm sesame seeds with this money. And with this amount of money, I will be able to make more than one container of sesame seed. But again, they said man proposes and Nigeria happens to you. I set up my farm, spent a lot of money. Sometimes we're having up to 200 workers, 100 workers at a time in the farms. Very large farms in Nasarawa. But during harvest, I lost almost everything due to the fact of stealing, and the fertilizers I bought were never used. They were just sold, stole. Everything was just stealing. Things were just happening, right in front of me. And at that point, I was like, okay, should I go or should I stay? So, because of the volume of money I had, I decided that the point that was best for me was to go into farming, which was my mistake because I didn't understand the dynamics of farming. So I usually, people who say they want to farm sesame seeds, I say, okay, if you're a local and you know the area, then it's good for you because you have the support system to manage and protect your farm. But if you are a starter and you are not from there, then you should be thinking of trading. And that trading, there are different points you should enter from. Now, after I failed in the farming, I still didn't have enough money. I decided that, okay, the farming experience made me to know the farmers and the local sellers of this sesame seed. I knew managers of these big companies like Olam. I actually sold the few bags I had to Olam company in Nasarawa. And the guy told me that if I had known you before you did that farming, I would have advised you not to. You'd have made more money by buying from these farmers and selling even to people like us, which was the Olam. So then I learned that lesson. So now, depending on your money, if somebody comes to me that he has 10 million, 5 million, I will tell you that, okay, with that money, go and make arrangements with some of these companies that are buying sesame seeds. They would 100%, maybe not 100%, at least 99% ask you to supply them. If they don't ask you to supply them, it's because a they already have a system of suppliers bringing goods to them. They normally call them legal buyers association. So the money first goes into those people Those people are really seen as big boys in the community most times, because it's like Olam or these big companies like Ella, Broadgrain, and all. They give the agents contracts. For example, the price of sesame is um, 200 naira in the market. The companies know. Now, the companies will give the agents the price of, okay, we give you a price of 300 naira per kilogram. Now, the agent has to deliver maybe 1,000 bags every week. He can't do it alone. So he now employs sub agents, and he gives them a price of 250 naira. So he still has 50 naira that he's gaining. So now the agents, the sub agents, everybody makes money. The chain could even be longer, as long as somebody is going to make money along the way. But again, my suggestion is that you should target not only dealing with the agents, but dealing with the company directly. Because if you start with the company directly and just prove your honesty, that's the only thing they need. You tell them that, okay, I have my 10 million or I have my 2 million. I'm going to use this money to supply you sesame seeds. They might not even give you a price. Just bring the goods to the warehouse that they have, as long as you know you bought under the price that they are buying. Maybe you must find a way to spy out all these prices from the company. Okay, the company is buying 300. You go to the market and you try to buy it at 250 or 200. You go there, tell them I'm selling my goods to you. As long as your quality meets what they want, they will buy your goods from you, and they just need to keep seeing your face. Maybe you are supplying 10 bags every time. It will get to a time you can even suggest that, why don't let's make, I only have enough money for 10 bags. Can you give me extra money so that I make it 15 bags each time I bring the cargo? They might tell you, okay, then this is the price you will give us. They might try to reduce the price so your margin becomes smaller, but take it, because now you are going more volumes. And as time goes on, you prove your trust, you start climbing, climbing, climbing. Before you know it, that same company will be giving you 500 million. There are companies that give people as much as 1 billion to do business. My mentor in this business has never traded with his money. You know, just honesty, integrity. These are the only things that made him grow. And again, of course, there are bad agents too. They trust them and they run away with money, ends up in police cases. I've had people, not one or two people have done that with me as well. We had to fight a lot, police and all that, recovered some money, took it as a bad loss and moved on. So, yeah, coming back to your question, you can join at any level. For a complete beginner, you should think of buying small. Just try to be in the location where this business is done. Money is circulating all the time in these places. Money is circulating. Your 10 million will just be like a drop in the ocean in these places. Even your 50 million, their companies, they come with real loads of money to do business. Then let's see, please, can someone apply for internship in your company? Uh, Oyekachi, we are not there yet. We don't have the man. I mean, if you want to do a regular internship, we don't have the manpower to guide you yet, but we will get there, because during the season, everybody will be very busy, except, uh, yeah, but send me a message on my email. It's Oyekachi Aloysius. We can work something out. I have had several people from this group visit our operations in Nasarawa to see. We show you the market, we show you what we do, and a lot of people have also benefited and made money, created their own means of livelihood just by listening to us and following our lead. So, yeah, that's my email. Do we have companies that somebody is asking, Olubodun, Oluwaseun, do we have companies that buy sesame seed in Nigeria? Yes, we have so many companies. A lot of companies buy sesame seed. I was so much interested in the guy from Dawano Market in Kano. I believe Dawano Market is a market that any serious agriculture commodity dealer must visit. That's the largest food market in the whole of West Africa. So if you go there, you can do spot deals even without knowing anybody before you arrived there. As long as you have the sincerity of purpose, you have what you want to do. And it will be a plus if you have some money in your pocket, then it's easy to start striking deals immediately. I was talking about value points of entering the business. If somebody comes to me like he has 1 billion, I'm not going to take him into villages to buy sesame seed. I would contact my network where we also have a network of people where we easily can get, if you want 10 trailers of sesame seeds, we know where to go. Of course, margins will be down, but because of the volume of money that is involved, we don't take much risk. We reduce our risk by narrowing our uh, commodity sourcing to large volumes alone. But if we are doing small volumes, of course, we can go, we are buying the 1 bag, 2 bags, 2 trailers, 1 trailer, 5 trailers a year. But once we are doing high volumes, then we are not going to be talking in terms of 1 or 2 bags. We'll be talking in terms of each batch of 30 tons. Each batch of 30 tons minimum, which can be in like 10 batches, it could be 20 batches. So that's how we would structure the business. But if you have less funds, like I started, you can go into the villages, go into the hubs, and try to create a supply deal, or just buy sesame and take it to them. You want to sell it. There is no, there is no hard and fast rule. Um, Yeah, Samson, Joshua, what about the case where someone doesn't have any money to start? Now, there are people who start like this too. Uh, what they do, they you have to give a collateral. Like in Nasarawa, some people give their land agreements or their bikes or their cars, or they give something of value to the company. So the company holds on to that and requires them to supply, and the company won't give them cash worth more than that security deposit, because companies have been treated really badly in the past. You trust people, you give them money, and they just disappear. So they hold on to your collateral, and trust me, they won't hold on to that collateral for too long. If they see that you are honest and you are delivering, they won't even know when they'll forget about your collateral. Maybe you have a collateral worth 5 million. Before you know it, it might not happen in one season, maybe 2, 3, 4 seasons of consistency on your part. They might not talk about collateral, they will start advancing you 20 million, 30 million, 50 million, or even more. They would have forgotten that your collateral was just 5 million. Now, your history with them and the perception that you are somebody to be trusted would make sure they want to do business. You're supplying them well, so they will continue with you. It's just the way it works. I have a few people that I rely on, even though I still use my camera systems to watch everything. But over the years, we've been able to identify people who are more sincere than many others. Of course, some locals have dealt with me as well. They've tried to take from me what does not belong to them, and we've had our fights. And I mean the cycle. Okay, Obayomi Olajide is asking, how often does your fund return? I mean, the cycle. It depends on the system you are trading. If you want to do storage, of course, it's going to be once. If you want to do weekly trades, it's going to be as many weeks are there during the season. If you want to buy for a company, you can be buying and supplying maybe twice or three times every week, and you are making your profit as you buy and supply. So there is no hard and fast rule. But if you are big and you want to do export, then the circle might not be too many. Maybe in a season, you can do up to 3 circles if you are fast. Or maybe after buying and doing the export transaction, your money comes back quickly, you get back. And if you have money to keep rolling like that, then you can do more. The the people who enjoy the commodity business the most are those with very deep pockets playing in the export sector, because the export sector, you are buying at the local price, which is mostly being depressed by international buyers. They want profit. Even if during the months of February, maybe something happens, prices go down, exporters still make money because they will sell at that international price. Even if there's a dollar rate fluctuation that affects local prices, the dollar price will still remain the same in the international market. Yes, so your funds can return as many times as possible, even if you are doing export, as long as you have it. For the exports, particularly, if you have a deep pocket, like companies like Olam, Broad Grain, they are buying every day, every single day. Sometimes in a day, they are spending 100 million in that Nasarawa village where I buy alone. And they continue that process daily until the end of March, starting from November. And that's not the only location they have. They have places, they have setups, Lafia, Kano, different places all over the country, and they are buying continuously. Okay, sir, you've kept kindly throw more light on storage. When is the best time to sell? Uh, who's sending? Okay, maybe my assistant is sending this on my behalf. Throw more light on the storage. Yeah, what I said about storage, I don't advise storage for beginners. The reason is it's going to be 50-50. You can make profit, you can still lose, because the the prices of sesame seed are influenced by international market factors. So it's not local. If you buy goods here, maybe the dollar rate goes up or down, it would affect your commodities, whether it's a large or small quantity, it would affect it. But if you are buying for export, maybe you are storing it for export, it's a different thing entirely. Storing to resell locally is different from storing to resell as on export basis. On export basis, you have a higher chance of making money, because most times when the season is dwindling down, the international market prices now take this, they have a settlement position which is usually higher than the price at which the market started when the season started, you know. So for storage, I have made money. Like I mentioned, I made more than 30% return on my investment at one time, but I would not recommend it all the time. The best way is to turn your money over as quickly as possible if you don't have enough money. But if you want to do the storage, then you must pay attention to the factors globally affecting the price of sesame seed. Pay attention to the Indian markets, the Chinese buyers, then the Turkish buyers, European buyers, and Japanese. These are very good buyers, but they usually require premium quality sesame seeds. companies that process to the quality that supplies Japan or European Union usually have more return on investment. So you that is selling to a Chinese person, your return on investment is not that much, but you do quicker transactions because with less quality. Then you that is storing to sell locally is just 50-50. Now you could be lucky. Something happens sometimes in this business. I have had goods sometimes. Maybe I just prepared one trailer load, 30 tons. Then I'm preparing more, thinking that, okay, I'm going to do export. Suddenly, we call them canoe buyers. They just come. Maybe they have a contract they are trying to fulfill very quickly. They're in a rush. They need goods. Now, I bought my cargo at maybe 1,100 naira per kilogram. Now, because these people are in a hurry, they rush into the market and looking for those who have stock. And they come to people like us and they say, okay, we would offer you 1,250 naira per kilogram. So that's already 150 naira per kilogram more than the price I bought. So as a businessman, I would weigh the options. Now, if I'm still going to export this cargo, it's going to take me time, stress, payment terms, all the headache that has to do with export, and the volume might not be that high enough. So, yeah, I can let go of the 30 ton and just keep this profit quickly and run back straight into the market. So that is the turnover time. I've quickened it because this business happened by luck. And these things happen very often in sesame seed business because there are so many companies, so many interests that want sesame seeds. What is the peak period for export? Now, most of the sesame people are now aggregating from the beginning of the season. They are aggregating. The peak period for exports, to me, I think is February to March. That's when all the dealers are the ones playing in the game. Farmers have left the system, except maybe a few farmers that still have uh, goods for storage. So they don't use them actually for storage. They just use them as a way of banking their money. So in February, everybody is trying to get rid of his sesame as quickly as possible because the rains will be coming, the humidity level will be going up, and so many other factors. It becomes more expensive to maintain your sesame seed within the shores of the country, or even in Lagos. Lagos is very highly, is a place that has very high humidity when the rains start. So from February, there's a very big, Dubai trade show that happens every February. So buyers, sellers, they go to such events. It's called Gulf Food. They go to such events and they market their sesame as well. So many people, I think that is the peak time for the export of sesame. Yeah, is sesame seeds seasonal? Yeah, the export of sesame seed is seasonal, but there are companies that export all year round because they, like now, companies like Olam, they are very big, very massive companies. They buy from day one to the end. They normally shut down their season when it's getting to after April. They would have shut down their local buying regions for that are specific to sesame seed. So they've taken everything to central bases in Kano or Lagos. And from these locations, Kano or Lagos, they continue doing their export to complete the deals they have with whatever country they are selling to. How is the security issue within the state? Mr. Abayomi is asking Olajide. Security normally could be bad in places like Nasarawa, but due to the fact that so many foreign companies, so many traders come into the vicinity during the sesame trading season, security is usually very tight. All these companies have come together to ensure that there are vigilantes at every point in time because large volumes of money are always being transported in these regions. Most times, why the companies prefer to deal with agents is because the companies cannot give cash to all the villagers. So they need people they can hold responsible. So instead of taking 10 million to the open market, for example, you get 10 agents whom you give 1 million to each of them. And those 10 agents now resupply that 10 million by giving 100,000 to 10 more people. So there is a system of kind of diluting the concentration of money in individuals' hands. So the vigilantes are doing a really good job, and I haven't heard of I have never experienced any incident where I was robbed. The only thing that I have had long time ago, I had an agent who was a crook, and of course, I let him go uh, after we had police cases and all that. I just let him go. So that's one of the things you learn in the business. With time in the business, you understand what kind of human beings to work with, what kind of human beings you should just stay far away from. And over the time, I have developed systems, and I've been able to identify people that have stood by me, stood with me over the years. And they are always good people, the same way they are bad people. But at the end of the day, there are good people who also become bad. But when it comes to theft of your product, I usually say the bigger risk is with those you leave in charge of your product, not an outsider. So don't expect that because you have money, somebody will just come to your house and steal your money or attack you on the road. No, that's not the risk you should be afraid of. You should be afraid of that person you are giving your money to, that shop you are keeping your goods in. These are the people who will steal from you. Laulu Amo, you said you sent a message about granite export, but I didn't reply. Okay, can you send that message to me? I promise you I will reply. Send it to my email. And let's not digress from this Sesame talk today. Okay, Chinelo Ayegunam is asking, how is somebody living abroad do this business? There are many ways you can do this business from abroad. Like this year, we started something and we got very out of pressure from my followers. We decided to um, start on behalf of people doing business in a transparent way to help them get a footing into agriculture sector. We actually did a drive where people invested in sesame seed that we are currently being stored in my warehouse. And I mean, a lot of people showed up for this. I was surprised at the number of people interested in doing business in Nigeria. But the factor of everybody is a thief in Nigeria does not allow people to take their chances in something they can develop into a lifetime business. So, yeah, you can, yeah, we are a people you can talk to. If you are trying to do something in Nigeria and you are not within the country, you can talk to us and we can find the best strategy that either we work with you or we guide you in the best way to do your business that will ensure a good return on investment for your money. Then somebody asked me, uh, this is actually a question, how can, let me see the question. Yeah, kindly, okay, no, I wrote that question. No. You don't start sesame trading, but now start from the middleman stage by buying from farmers and supplying to exporting companies. How do I go about this? Okay, I've answered this question. They are talking about you want to start as a middleman and buying from farmers and supplying to exporting companies. First, I will ask you, where do you live? If you live within Nasarawa, Benue, Kano, Abuja, you can easily, or Niger State, you can easily locate these areas, or temporarily during the season, just go there. Just go there. That's what people are doing. Just go there. I mean, if you don't have any strong thing holding you in your current location, let's assume, okay, you are looking for a job. You've not found a job. You have some small savings. Leave that city. If you want to go to any of these places I mentioned that are known for sesame seeds, just go there. Bear in mind one thing, that your credibility is the most important part of your CV you are taking there. And there is no formal way of applying to these companies. Just walk up to them. You can supply 3, 4 companies at the same time. And with time, you will determine which of these companies is giving you better return on your effort. Some might allow you to make 50 naira per kilogram. Some might allow you to make 60. Some might allow you to make 40. It depends. And the more your volume is growing, you also look at the companies, which ones are more open to giving you advance money. That's the target. Once they start giving you advance money, then you know that the responsibility is now a lot on you to maintain that trust. As long as you maintain the trust and you supply them consistently, your money would grow. I'll tell you one. I don't know if many people watched the video I did about my mentor, uh, Alaji Izwafa. He's a young guy. He's not even up to, I don't think he's up to 50. He did his youth service in Benue State, and he had no money. He told me all this when I was processing my sesame in his warehouse. I used to rent his machines, and he was always he. I came from Turkey. I was based in Turkey, and I relocated from a good job. I was business development executive in a multinational company in Turkey, traveling the world for business. I was mostly focused in South American countries and Africa. We did a lot of jobs. So I left that job, came to Nasarawa like a mad person, and I started doing sesame seed and processing in his warehouse. So when we started talking, he was like, wow, that you must be really crazy to come here. But you were very right. You are crazy, but you did the right thing to notice that there's something here. And he told me a lot about the business. And he told me how he even got into the business. He was a youth copper in Benue State, no money. And he saw people doing sesame seed. He approached some companies until one agent accepted to give him money for a few bags, 2 bags, 3 bags, like that. And he kept on supplying them. Now, there was a time he couldn't, because of his honesty, they increased his money. Then 150,000, 200,000 was very big. There was even a time he said he couldn't account for 150,000 naira. And he was so scared that now this company, they would think that he is a thief, like most of his colleagues did. They just come back, they'll blow the money, then they'll come and tell lies. Of course, the company knows you are lying, but what can they do? So he went back to his village and told his parents that he can't let this company know that this money got that he couldn't account for this money. Something happened, whether he lost the money or but he just didn't know how to account for it. So the family sold a piece of land in their village and gave him the money. And up till today, according to him, his company that he was supplying never knew that something went wrong with one of his deals. He supplied his goods as usual. Everything was going well. Now, fast forward to 3, 4 years later, his the company, the boss in charge was a foreigner. He wanted to retire, and there was another new guy coming in from abroad. Remember, my mentor was only working through an agent, but he supplied the company. And these people, they see them because they see the names and they see the consistency in his deliveries. So the old boss told the new one, rather, the new guy asked the old one, okay, now you're leaving. Who are the people that I can trust as agents here? And the old guy said he couldn't trust any of his agents, but there is a boy to one of his agents that has been so consistent for the past 3, 4 years. He has never had any negative story about him. And he asked him what was that guy's name. He said it was one Iswafa. That's the allergy Iswafa I mentioned. He's very big in Nasarawa now, probably one of the biggest. So the new guy told him that, well, I want to see that boy. And they sent for him. And at that moment, he told him that from today, you will be in charge of all my purchasing in Nigeria. So the guy, when he told me, he said sometimes he is getting like $2 million, $3 million in a season, even before the season starts. And they are calculating his profit for him. So this is how your integrity can take you in the business. Small time, there are others also doing very good, but his own story was epic because of the level at which his reward came. And up to today, he maintained it. So it was, I would tell you, the reason why I do most of these YouTube things is because of that man, because he gave a lot of information to me that he could have withheld, thinking that I'm coming to be a competitor. But no, he told me, he said, the sky is wide enough for all the birds to fly. So we're still very close up to this minute. So that is one way you can start to do this business and actually succeed. Can I start supplying to companies with 500K? Sure. 500K, they buy in kilograms, by the way. If you have 500,000, you calculate how many kilograms will 500,000 give you. If they are selling 1 kilogram at 1,000 naira per kilo, so 500,000 naira is how much? So you do the maths, and that's the quantity you will supply. Because they pay you per kilo, they don't pay you by the amount of money you have. You might come with only one bag of 200 kilos, they will buy it because it's an extra additional 200 kilos they are going to have. Abdul Salam Shakirullahi is asking, how can we partner with you on Sesame? Yeah, we can partner. I've been thinking about this because I've gotten a lot of questions. The pressure I faced on Egusi, finally we did something Egusi. Those people are making profit already. So I'm still thinking. I have a setup that is already functional. A warehouse, very big warehouse in Nasarawa, and I have currently a very high quality sesame seed cleaning machine that is on its way from China. We had some delay. It's not delivered yet, but it will come in a few weeks' time. Enough time for us to use for processing this season. So, but we can start buying at first. But we also have a very active sourcing network within Nasarawa. Now, about partnership, I believe in a structured collaboration. If someone has capital or logistics or even village sourcing strength and wants to plug in with my operations responsibly, we can discuss. For me, it has to be transparent and mutually beneficial. That's how I operate. So I will say that you feel free to send me a message on email. So we can talk on Tuesday. Or let me call, yeah, let's talk on Tuesday. Send me an email. I will send the email to you now. Or if you're in our WhatsApp community, try to send me a message on WhatsApp, on that WhatsApp group. Then let's talk about it if you're serious, and there will be a way to partner. And for those, my machine will also be available for anyone to use for cleaning, of course, even if you want to do your own business separately. You can bring your sesame. We have a very good cleaning machine uh, that will do the very, very good job for you. Please, sir, can we get the names of this company we can supply sesame to here in Nigeria? There are so many companies. Okay, let's talk privately. I can give you some ideas. Uh, but off my head, there are companies like Olam, Broadgrain, even my mentor, Ella Projects. Um I used to supply, when I started, I supplied one Indian company in Lagos. They are called NK Industries or NK Indo. The guy is very big, but he pretends to be small in Nigeria. Meet him in Dubai, then you'll know what he is. Uh, yeah, there are so many companies, but off my head, that's what I can say for now. But send me a message. I promise to respond to any message about developing Sesame Seed business because we are on the season. So my assistant will be making me aware of any message we get, and we can talk more about it and just hit the ground running. Uh, what is the least amount one can invest in sesame processing plant? Yeah, I will tell you my own, okay, list. Yeah, there are some, the single lines machines, you will see them in China. China price, maybe 6,000, $7,000. That's China price. You've not calculated your shipping. You've not calculated uh, insurance. You've not calculated the clearing from, what do you call it, from Lagos. Shipping alone, 40 foot, oh, sorry, yeah, 40-foot container is around $5,400. Yeah. And 20-foot container, I think it's around $4,200. Because for my own, is a 40-foot container. Of course, it's way more expensive than that. Uh, the machine I bought is way more expensive because it's more complex type. Uh, but in Nigeria, I believe there are people who are selling even second-hand single lines, which you can buy. I don't know how much in Naira. I have never bought in Nigeria. Hello, sir. I was talking, my brain is spinning. I visited the warehouse last weekend. Okay, this is Vicky Psalms. Hello, sir. As you are talking, my brain is spinning with ideas. I visited your warehouse last weekend and I was blown away. Yes, you are very welcome, Vicky Psalms. Are you the one that came from Port Harcourt? Yeah. Anyway, thanks a lot. I hope business goes well for all of us. Let's see what more questions have I not responded to. Okay, Chinelo, you are asking, please, can one enroll for one-on-one masterclass with you? Send me a message. Because of, yes, you can. I don't know how to. People have been asking me about mentorship. I think mentorship is leading or guiding somebody. I don't have any program for that, but I have an ebook which can, if you don't have any idea about agriculture commodities business, you can go through that ebook first of all, and we can talk later. I have been talking to a lot of people on the group, encouraging them, supporting them with ideas, even telling them guide prices. When some people are trying to sell, I noticed that pricing was one of the biggest challenges of how do we get what the real market price is now. I've actually helped some people to avoid underpricing themselves or overbuying at a more expensive price than the current market price. And that's why we created the solution, Mr. Bash prices. Yeah, that's the book. Can we get there? Let's see. Is there any other question I haven't answered? Okay, yeah, I've talked about my indications for partnership. Yeah, we are open to partnership. We can talk. If you are serious, send me a message. We'll move quickly. I like practical people, no time wasting. Uh, what criteria? Can you throw more light on storage? Okay, I've answered all that. Okay, when somebody doesn't have any money, I've answered that. You can actually, if you don't have any money, you can, go to the region where it is done, this business is done, and be ready to provide the collateral. Nobody is going to give you money just like that, except maybe you work under somebody or somebody guarantees you. Yeah, there are companies that buy Sesame in Nigeria. All right. Okay. So we will round up now. Okay, let me post the email address. If my assistant is here, please send the email. Info at bashwan.com. Okay, good. He sent the email already. Okay, so we'll be rounding up now. Now, for my final advice, always inspect your sesame seed before you pay. Okay, final one question came from George Akinyemi. Can sesame be cultivated in the West? Yes, I think some people are already cultivating sesame seed in some Western states. Yeah, some people are cultivating sesame. It can be cultivated. Okay, my assistant will respond about the ebook link. And like I was saying, use trusted and verified suppliers. Keep your moisture content low and your bags clean. Never rush into storage until or unless you have clear market visibility. Remember, international factors affect our local prices and also our local dynamics of forex problems. I don't know if it has ended. It has been stable for a while, but that's another issue we should be careful about when we are trying to do storage for sesame seeds. Then avoid shortcuts and shady deals. They destroy your credibility fast. You might make money today, but what makes people rich in business is repeat business. If somebody cannot call you and come back to you to do business, then there's really something wrong with your approach to the business. Um, for regular price updates, you can visit our own mrbashprices.com. We put weekly prices for as many commodities as we have access to finding their prices. Uh, we also have a WhatsApp community. Some of the communities are full, but we regularly try to create new ones because there's a limit of 2,000 membership in the communities. So feel free to join. The first group we created since last December has been very active, and the other communities are so active. People are even doing business transactions. I have met people who are very entrepreneurial in agriculture. There's a woman who's been doing um, palm oil storage and successful at it. There's also a young guy who I saw there in the group doing business. People are from the group are supplying him palm oil, and what does he do? He packages the specific light part of the palm oil in good sachet packages and resells to shops. This is just what he's doing. He has many employees now. He's not only feeding himself, but he has created jobs for a number of other people. So if you join these communities, they are very real, transparent, and personally, I make myself available um, when I am free. Then on the machine, somebody is asking, okay, I will answer these questions that I should talk more about the machine. Yeah, the machine. What do you want to know more about it? Like I said, the machine quality determines the quality of sesame output you will be getting. I have been using this single line processing, which is just the vibration cleaner. And that gives me between 97 to 98% of clean sesame. But because I'm trying to upscale, I invested on a more complex machine that gives me the quality of 99% clean sesame. And I'll tell you one funny thing. When I went to China, uh, I met this main company called, I will put the name here, what's it? Julite. Julite. This is the name of the company. Just if you type in Google Julite Sesame, I went there and I met one of the managers who told me that because I wanted to go for cheap for the single line, which I was used to. And he told me one thing. He said different people come from Nigeria to buy machines from them. And he'll be honest with me that this single line machine is the cheapest. And that is what many of the Nigerians buy when they come here. But he said the Chinese people who have cleaning plants in Nigeria and some other foreigners like the Indians and some other that buy from them buy a different type of machine that guarantees them 99% clean. And I now begin to think that, okay, so this is why our quality is always low. Why these people play in the international league. Many of us Nigerians are focused on the local. And when you're focused on the local, these same companies, because they buy from people who clean with that cheap machine and reclaim in their more complex machine to take the value of their products higher. So, and he told me, he said, if I want to play among the league of those people, then he recommends this machine, which I eventually acquired. So it's up to you the type and the level you would operate. Some people need this very quick money. Okay, we process today, but again, your leverage will be so much squeezed when your quality is not as good as the real export grade that is wanted. And the price differences are usually wide. You might be selling the sesame seed to maybe you are exporting. They will be pricing you at maybe $1,200 per ton. But the person who has processed his 99% clean sesame can sell his own for as much as 1,600 or more. So he has a better chance of making money. Yes, at Peace Michael, this video will continue to air on YouTube. Okay, viral shots. You said you have saved up 500. You intend to relocate to Nasarawa from to buy from farmers and sell to companies. Yeah, send me. You can go to Nasarawa. We have people who can guide you where to stay. If you want to relocate, we can guide you very well. Uh, I'll be so proud of you. If you don't have anything doing and this is what you want to do, I assure you, it won't be a bad decision at all. instead of staying somewhere, not doing anything, or trying to go into vices. Just go there and start with that money. I'm sure I'll talk about you in my videos 1 or 2 years from now as a success story. Where can I get the machine, sir, if I want to start Sesame Seeds business? Mm, you can, I think there are companies that sell them in Nigeria as well, because there's a representative of Julight here as well. But you can talk about it with me if you want, privately. I can guide you. Um, let's see, is there any other question? Okay, Olajide Adesola is asking, can we replicate the same system and structure you did for Egusi with Sesame? Egusi and Sesame are different. For those who don't know, we did an investment on Egusi, and we bought bags. I think now almost 20,000 has been added. I mean, most of the bags we bought have appreciated by about 20,000, around that range, naira. Yeah, there's a difference in the approach to these two businesses. At the beginning of this masterclass, I mentioned that Egusi is a product that I recommend to any beginner in agriculture to try for storage business, because throughout all my more than 10 years of doing agricultural business, I never lost money in Egusi. The worst thing that happens is I might not make profit. I might not make enough profit. I might just make maybe 10%, 20%, or worst case, I get my capital back. But there have been years where I got 200% return on investment in Egusi. So that was why I put out Egusi there. So people who are still thinking, how this agriculture, okay, let's try this Egusi, let's see, so that you see what will happen there. I know that they won't lose. I just know it. I can't guarantee the level of profit that will come in, but I just know that they won't lose. So there is a business that's secured in Nigeria, because the dynamics of Egusi are 100% local. We are not exporting egusi in large quantities, except maybe people are sending to their families in living abroad. But that will not affect the supply. What affects our supply is what affects the availability and pricing of egusi in Nigeria is demand and supply. Egusi has only one season. The egusi that I know has one season. Planting in April, harvest in late July, early August, and by December, January, egusi is finished in the market. Not finished, but so diminished in volume that prices, it's just economics. Less egusi, more people want to eat egusi soup. Same number of people want to eat egusi soup. Same number of people want to do whatever they do with egusi. Of course, price goes up. Last year, the margin was about between 60 to 70% profit on egusi. This year, we don't know. It could be anything, but that's the way business is. To actually benefit from storage, you must be present every year. You must do it like a habit. You don't do it this year. No, I didn't make enough, then you leave. No, you have to do it consistently. So that's what I'll say about. So, but Sesame, no, storage. I don't recommend, but I have made money from storing sesame when I started. I have made it. So if it's something you want to do, you should research about it as well. Yeah. Do you know about Wakot? Yeah, I know about Wakot. I've heard that. What is it about it? I'm just typing out. What was it again? What God was it like? It's a pesticide, was it? Let me see. Yeah, I know they do pesticides. Do they buy products too? Okay, yeah, they do. Yeah. Okay, yes, I know about Wakot. It's very popular in Nasarawa for their herbicides. But I just checked online now. I think they are an aggregation company as well. Now, somebody is asking, please, is there a machine that doesn't just extract sesame seed, but also extract other oils like coconut oil and others, cheaper ones for a start? Yes, there are. Uh, okay, you said Wakot is a rice producing company. All right, yeah, it's good to know that. Yeah, about the machines producing other oils. There are machines. I wrote in my last trip to China, a lot of people, uh, about 30 people, wrote about machines that they wanted to check in China. But I was already in China. Things were so fast, and I wasn't. I was just a week there. Uh, Somebody even requested I check a machine for palm oil. Palm oil press in China. But because of my time limit, I couldn't go. I spoke to him, and so I am planning that next year, sometime around next year, we can. I can go to China anytime. I have visa free and all that to China and so many countries. So uh, I am thinking that if we get a list or interest on different types of machinery, we can go into, as a community, we can go into China and source these products. And of course, if we can actually get the volumes that fill up a container of various machines, as long as they are tagged agriculture, it brings the cost per machine low. Then I will be happy to go to China to do that for the community. Because at the end of the day, uh, if we can get ourselves into processing and adding value, the rate of job creation in this country would skyrocket. And of course, we'll be getting foreign exchange for those who will be doing export of the processed commodity as well. Yeah, so I'm looking into that. So if that is, maybe we can start by collecting names of particular machineries that people want. It could be small scale to medium scale to, but focus on real quality machinery that is not going to be unaffordable to the people in the community. So I am thinking of this. If it's something that maybe like you're talking about coconut oil, I saw many oil presses in China. So there are things we can look at, and it's something I'm ready to offer to the community. Okay, you said your second question hasn't been answered. Lol, I said, how can I buy from farmers and sell to exporting companies? That's what I've been saying. You just go to the markets. There's no two ways about it. Mm, Nasarawa, where I operate, I don't know where you live, but if you are not far from Nasarawa, if you come to Nasarawa, we can show you the market. You just go to the market, you see sesame seed, then you buy. It's as simple as that. So you don't need to know anybody. Now, you don't know. Let's assume, like when I went into Nasarawa, I didn't know anybody. Like I said, I was like a crazy person, just crazy. I left Turkey with some savings, and I just found myself in Nasarawa. I didn't know anybody. But over time, I started knowing people. I got to the market, just walk around. And my first employees, I met them randomly. in the market. Then another thing I wanted to mention, I forgot to say, it's not in my program, but when you are buying sesame seed, try to avoid buying the bag of sesame. They call them carry go. That is, uh, they also call it see and buy in the farm markets in Nasarawa. It means that they will not let you scale the bags. They just put a fixed price on the bag and you might be lucky. Like I said, when we started doing sesame seed business, this is how most of the farmers were selling. They will not agree that you scale their bags. So, and it was like a lottery or gambling because, for example, they tell you a bag, they are selling bags in the market today for 50,000. You go, you buy the first bag, you take it to your warehouse, you weigh it, it's 120 kilograms. You buy another bag, 50,000, your weight is 140 kilograms. So you don't know whether you're losing. It's just gambling. So avoid sesame that they tell you is carry go or see and buy, meaning that the bag is packed. All you can do is scoop because they scoop too. There is this sharp object. You must use it to dip into the bags to get to scoop some of the sesame out, put it on your palm, and look how clean or dirty with sand and all that is inside it. So you don't buy, carry, go, or see and buy. Your sesame seed must be bought per kilogram. Somebody is asking, okay, I know Wakot as pesticide or herbicide producer because they use Wakot herbicide a lot, but I don't know them as buyers. They might be, like I said, there are so many buyers, so Wakot might just be one of them. Mr. Bash, is there any likelihood of you doing palm oil storage? Yes, a lot of people have asked this question. You know, I have never done palm oil before. And I have found out that they do palm oil in the West, they do in the East, they do in places like Akwa Ibom and Calabar. For me to be involved in palm oil storage, because my base is in Nasarawa, I don't think they do palm oil in Nasarawa. So for me to be involved is to have somebody in the community who is who is strong, at least up to a level in these locations. Then I will need to visit there, see the facility they have. If it means maybe they don't have something and it needs us to build a warehouse quickly for the storage of palm oil in that particular location where palm oil is done in large volumes, then we can consider that. I was speaking to somebody from Calabash, he's in the community, but we've not really arrived at the best way to run this project because if I'm going to put my name in any project, then I have to make sure that it's not going to be something that my community members would regret. So we would ensure we've put everything in place. But currently, I don't have the facilities for palm oil. I have never done palm oil. So it's something I would rely on somebody who is already experienced in palm oil. Then we can tap into his his platform and his facility, maybe storage. And if he doesn't have enough storage and we have so many, the volume is high that they want to do storage, then maybe we can expand. I can personally invest to expand that storage. But at the moment, I have not. So I would work seriously on that and I will give my final feedback whether or not we would be involved in the palm oil storage business. I think it's starting in January sometime. So, but before the end of this month, we would give the feedback on that. But of course, this is also a message to those doing palm oil. If you know you're strong in palm oil with resources, not just resources, I mean, you have access to storage. Wherever the storage is, as long as it's not in the bush, is somewhere we can easily secure with 24-hour security. We'll put our CCTV cameras and everything, just the way we did in Egusi. We have is 100% secured, and also by the grace of God. So if we have this communication from people already in the business, then we can tap into it to benefit our community members. So, but you can message me again. So I remember, definitely my assistant is here. Please remind me about this topic as well. Sir, can my younger brother learn this trade from you in Nasarawa? Okay, send me a message on email, so that maybe if we start having people coming like that, we can start creating systems where we can create a structured system where we show them the market, show them the business, and maybe we can even create a model where we even maybe not maybe add to the funds they have, so they learn the business while they are working with us. So yeah, we can do something, but yeah, sure, I'm available to talk to. You can call me. Your younger brother can call me, and our place is in Nasarawa is open at certain times. I mean, of course, during weekdays, as long as we are given notice, my manager will be aware. Then we can organize something. A lot of people have been to operations in Nasarawa, and you are very more than welcome. Prof Firm is asking, please, what is the current price in Nasarawa? The current price of sesame in Nasarawa, I've said it before, but maybe you are not here, is about 1,000 naira per kilogram. But now, this is price for the old stock. Old stock means sesame that was harvested since last year. And you don't want to be buying that sesame for your business. We are still expecting this year seems to be a bit slow. I don't know. Maybe is going to affect the total output of sesame this year. I don't know, because normally by this time we would have been seeing sesame in the market. Last week there was no new sesame in the market in Nasarawa, at least from the region where I operate. So we're expecting from tomorrow. We want to see how the market would go. Currently, they are saying 1,000 naira, but I'm suspecting it should come down. Once these companies start coming to buy, that price will come down. And when the new goods arrive the market as well. Okay, why is there not high rate of value addition to sesame seeds in Nigeria, like processing into sesame oil? Now, you see, in Nigeria, we like fast business. Number one. In Nigeria, we like fast business. Hello? I'm on the call. I'll call you back. Live video. So in Nigeria, in Nigeria, we like fast business. A lot of people, they have the money, but they just feel, why am I going to invest on this? When I can easily just turn this money over? That's just the reason. There's no other thing. Nothing is stopping us. I have a friend. He has sesame processing line for sesame oil. But again, when you are going into these niche sectors, you will now be competing with processing factories in Japan, highly industrialized processing factories in China, in India. So it's not doable. It's doable, but now there are more certifications to have for that oil to go into the international market. It's not just you press the oil and you put it in and sell. No, there will be testing. You have to meet the regulation of the country you're exporting to, because now sesame oil is food grade. So at that level, there will be more scrutiny on it. And we Nigerians, we just don't like to put too much effort on something we know. So, yeah, if you have the resources to go into this, of course, we'll be very happy to support in creating the market analysis for the sesame oil business in the international market. I'm just trying to get to the Yeah, you can get a recap. You can watch the entire video again from the beginning. It's yeah, the video will be available after the live stream is over. Yes. All right. In the absence of any more question, and I really appreciate you if you stay to this point. I really appreciate you, and I hope you succeed in whatever business. And feel free to message me for guide or and just send me an email. Join our WhatsApp community. Even if I don't respond, you will see other people who are experienced in this agricultural business. They would guide you. And if you specifically request to speak to me, I'm more than available to speak to you. And I'm open to uh, supporting members. Also, for those who have the resources but don't know how to go about it, we're available for partnership as well, as long as it benefits both parties. And so nice to talk to you today. And I wish you a happy Sunday evening. Goodbye for now, everyone.
One hour and 40 minutes. It is